Community Viewpoint.
All right. So welcome to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pawlak, your host for this segment. And yeah, you see the person on that side is our clerk for Nye County, Sam Merlino, who's been our clerk for many a year. So you were a teenager when you started?
Yeah, I wish. No, but it has been a while.
Yes. Okay. So I want to welcome you for taking time out of your busy day, one of your busy days, to speak with us here on Community Viewpoint about the upcoming election. Let's get into it. What came from you in your office here? I have this here. Is there's a lag. A sample ballot and voter information that came a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And it's got all the information about people who are running for office, but the most important thing is where we go and what we have to do to vote. So if you open this literature, the sample ballot and voter information sheet, you'll come up to the first page or the second page about where you go to vote. So you're in Tonopah, so you would go to the courthouse up there.
Yes.
Since we're broadcasting just the Crump Valley, we'll zero in on that down here. So tell us, where do we go to vote in person here in town? Is it the Bob Roode Center? No.
No.
Yeah.
As you all should know by now, this is an all mail-in election. So everyone who is eligible to vote and has an active voter registration should have received this sample ballot and an official ballot in the mail. So what we'd like you to do is actually complete that. You read the instructions, complete the ballot, sign the envelope, and return it to us. That is the best way. But if you feel uncomfortable about mailing your ballot back, please come to the office, either office in Pahrump or Tonopah. Both clerks' offices are open, not only to receive ballots at any time during office hours, but also during early voting and on election day. So we won't prohibit you from voting that ballot if you show up in our office. You can vote it right then and there if you'd like, but if you feel more comfortable, vote it at home, bring it in, drop it off to us, or stick it in the mail. Any of those options are fine.
And there's a process about sending those in. Also, I have one of them here for our home. So you have this mailer here that you have to sign, like I did.
Yes.
It doesn't work unless you sign the thing. And on the inside, there's a secrecy sleeve where you put your ballot after you tear off a portion on the top.
Yep, that's your ballot stub.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, so that's what that is?
Yep, that's for you to keep.
Okay. So this goes in here.
Mm-hmm.
The secrecy sleeve, stick it in there well. That goes in your envelope. And put your name on it. And if you're married, do not put both of yours in here because you'll disavow both of them.
Yes, unfortunately, it will, and I'll explain that. It's very important, one person, one vote, one envelope, one signature. We have a board that comes in and actually processes these ballots. They're of mixed parties. They go through, they check the voter off, whose ballot was received. If we have 2 ballots in an envelope, we will reject both of them because we do not know who that ballot belongs to. So it's very important. If you look on that return envelope, not only does it have your name printed on it, but it has that signature box. So please sign your own envelope. We've already had quite a few returned where the husband has signed the wife's, the wife has signed the husband's, a child. Yes, we've had a family of 3 that they're all mixed up. So what happens at that point? If we receive those and there's no signature or it's the wrong signature, we send a signature cure letter to the voters asking them to actually return a form saying, yes, I did vote this ballot. Yes, this is my signature. And they have to send a copy of their ID.
Okay.
Once we receive that back from them, we'll take their ballot and we'll attach that verification to it saying, okay, this person accidentally just signed the wrong one, didn't sign it, the signature didn't match, whatever. It's a verification so that we can count that ballot. If we don't receive that verification back, that ballot is completely rejected.
Okay, understood. Now, in that
Okay.
letter that we get from you, also, there's this blue sheet with all the information on it, and it's very clear what you should do when returning your ballot. So, if you have trouble reading it, have your son or daughter, if you're elderly, or if you're blind or something, have someone read it to you. But this is very concise and clear.
It is, but it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
And most people aren't used to getting so much mail with so much information in it. And if you notice on that sample ballot, we called it a sample ballot and voter information sheet. Normally, it's just a sample ballot. We have a page that shows you how to vote on the electronic machines, and then we have all of your races that are on your particular ballot. This was a combination. So everyone received the same sample ballot this time. Used to be based on your party and precinct, but this shows every race that's on the ballot in Nye County. And if you notice, it also shows the precinct that
That's right.
that race is, right. So you'll see, like, you can't vote for the Northern Nevada Hospital District, Northern Nye County, but it shows the precincts that can vote for it. But mostly it was getting the information out there to the voters, telling them this is all mail-in, this is the close of registration, this is how you have to handle everything. And it is unfortunately overwhelming, a lot of information. I know all of the clerks and the Secretary of State have done their best to do community outreach to get this information out, because it is a lot. I know people probably have tossed these envelopes thinking it was just some sort of literature. But one thing I want to let the voters know, I don't know if you could, when I'm going to show this ballot too, when you see this logo, that normally means it is official election mail. So before tossing it, always open it up to find out what it is. But all sample ballots, you know, on the back, all official ballots will have this logo. So just be sure you watch for that. And that means it's official. Even though that doesn't mean some voter groups won't go out there and try to duplicate it. But it's better safe than sorry. Open it up, see what it is before you decide to toss it.
Oh, okay. Now, don't get confused with your census papers also. Keep that separate if you haven't sent that in too.
That's true, but that's why this has the logo and that census paperwork does not. So.
And on the back of this piece of paper, this letter are the instructions also.
Yes.
In red. And it tells you about bringing to the clerk's office 5 o'clock on the 7th day after election day. It must be postmarked. So help me God. And then you mentioned the Secretary of State. This is the card that you got from him, whoever Lieutenant Colonel Steve is.
Yeah, I don't know, unfortunately.
But that just gives you the instructions also. That's all it is the instructions and reminding you to vote. So that's not a political party.
No.
That's from our actual state of Nevada. And
well,
Steve is. Yeah.
Right. Well, you know, it's surprising. It's not surprising, I guess. There are many people who don't read the news, don't watch the news, don't read the papers. And so we still have calls from people saying, hey, do we get to go to the Bob Roode to vote? And so that's why these postcards are going out, because people don't always, they just choose not to. So it's very difficult for us to get the information out there to let them know this is an all mail-in election. It's through the state of Nevada. I think you had actually looked it up. There are probably 5 or 6 other states that have gone to all mail-in just because of this COVID crisis. And, you know, it wasn't an easy choice for the clerks to go in this direction. But when you think of the social distancing and the fact that we would have to literally wipe down every machine between every voter, we'd have to space the voters apart by at least 6 feet. And they're all electronic and plugged in, so that's difficult in itself to space those machines apart. Then if you can only let 10 people in the polling place. So it was a decision. We felt it was the right decision. Difficult, it's a change. We know that, but we just didn't feel like we had a choice.
And hopefully the people will understand if we explain it to them at like programs like this, or if there's another article or two in the Plum Valley Times, or if Karen talks about it at K9, or if it's on Channel 25 at some other venue. But I also, you mentioned that the different states that I looked up, but Oregon's been doing this for 25 years.
They have.
And the military's voted by mail for a century and a half. So this is not something that's new, but
No.
it's here because we have to do it because of the pandemic right now.
I think that's it. Most people have a choice, and some people are upset because we've taken that choice away from them, not to come and vote on those machines. And I understand that, but we want to ensure everybody that there are checks and balances in place. We normally in Nye County process up to 5,000 absentee or mail-in ballots every election. We have mail-in precincts, that's the only way they vote. So it's not something new to us. We have procedures in place. We have checks and balances. When you go in to vote during the polls, and these are the little kiosks behind me that you usually sign in on at the polls, we verify your signature against your voter registration. We do the exact same thing with that ballot that's returned in the mail. That's why it's so important for you to sign the back of that. When we receive your ballot in the mail, we pull up your voter registration, we compare your signature, and if everything is good, we check it off and say, this person has returned their ballot back, ready to count. So it's all very important. There's all these checks and balances. So it's not just that we're tossing these ballots here and there. They're accounted for. They're, undeliverables are marked as undeliverable, voted or marked as voted. And we usually have a mixed party board that does come in. Yes. And they go through and process the ballots. They not only verify the person who signed actually voted, they kind of cross match, I guess you'd say. And then one person opens it, they separate the secrecy sleeve and the envelope from the ballot. So that's the purpose of the secrecy sleeve. So when our workers pull those apart, it actually separates the vote from the envelope. So nobody's looking to see exactly what you voted. It's a process. So it goes around the table, we separate them, we flatten out the ballots, and then they're ready for scanning.
Okay. So this is the 14th of May. So we've got until the 9th of next month. We're taping this on the 14th. So there's plenty of time. Hopefully we get the message out here in another venue here. And hopefully the people will get the message. And then there's no malice in this. This is for our good because of the pandemic. I always carry my, oops, it's here someplace, my mask. It was here earlier, but anyway.
Yeah, I carry mine around too, but I do have one really important thing that I'd like to mention if we still have time.
Yes, we have a couple minutes, yes.
When you look at the sample ballot, and it's going to be published in the paper this week and for the next couple of weeks, okay. There's a notice of early voting and election day schedule. We want to make it clear for everyone what that is about. So during the early voting period, May 23rd through June 5th, the schedule will be in the paper. What that is that's for you to come in person if you would like. You can come in person and turn in your ballot. It's also a time you can actually change your voter registration, your party or your address or anything else, and we will give you a replacement ballot based on that new party or your new address if it's in a different district. That's what that is for. But we want to make it clear, you can come in and vote your ballot on those days too. We will not have electronic machines up. So I don't want anybody to think, okay, we're going to show up on early voting, they're going to have all these machines set up we can vote on. That's not the case. If you show up to early voting, you are still going to vote a paper ballot. You're still going to put it in the envelope. So if you choose to come in, bring your ballot with you. If you want to vote it there in our office with the little privacy screen, we're happy to let you do that. But if you choose to tear up your ballot, then you show up on election day or early voting, all we're going to do is it's going to take about half an hour because we're going to have to cancel your first ballot in our system. We're going to have to reissue you a new ballot, and then we're going to have to give you that paper ballot to vote. So it's your choice. We're not disallowing that. Absolutely. We want you to come in, but you're still going to get a paper ballot, no machines. So.
Well, thank you very much. We're out of time, and there was so much information. I think it was just the right amount for the time limit that we had. Okay. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. And it's always wonderful to talk to you, to see you. You're still there, and you're looking over the election process. So thank you from Patty, my wife, and myself. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you for getting the information out there so much. Okay.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Take care and stay safe.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Okay.